What's up? Welcome. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a technical when do we not have technical difficulties on this stream? But for whatever reason, YouTube didn't want to accept my stream's encoder. But I fixed it. And we're back. And it's Thursday. Time for not a Friday night stream. I should put it back on Friday nights just so I can say Friday Night Frontline. I feel like, that was such a nice, catchy phrase. I need to go back to that. But Thursday night, we got Gunsmoke Fun Line going this week. I don't think we're going to do that today. Well, maybe. Well, I'll take a vote on that. But we're going to cover... I'm going to quickly go over some more updated info for the Deagle on CN side. And I don't think we have any gambling or anything to do. We're just going to do some sort of combat stuff today. We're not going to hang out too late. But I don't know. Maybe I'll put a poll up and you guys can tell me what kind of combat stuff you want. If you want to see me miss the Gunsmoke kill by like 0.5% or something, that'd be funny. Or we can do the whatever the peak value. Let me put this poll up right now. And yes, I did get a new icon. We got a Deagle in the bottom left here. That's the temporary working one right now. I want a better one than that. That one's... It's hard to find like an image with like a PNG background so that it can be transparent. So it can like move it around and it not mess up what it's covering up. So this is what we're working with right now. But we got Deagle in the corner here. Very confused as to why the stream didn't start on time. You just have to wait for Thunder, so you can call it Thunder Day stream. Well, it is technically... It was rainstorming earlier with thunder, so maybe today is a Thunder Day stream. Let me do the poll real quick, and you guys can vote on this. Your voice matters, and we will. You guys can vote on this while I discuss CN side. I hope you guys are all having a good Gunsmoke, by the way. I hope you're all having much fun in the much beloved Gunsmoke Frontline. What other options we have? We got Gunsmoke, we got expansion drills. I'm trying to think of what other stuff we can even do. I think peak value analysis is up. I think we have a refresh on that. And I think there's one challenge mode. We're gonna put that. All right, there you go. Let's go. I'll make that as interesting as it can be. So you guys can vote on that while the stream is going. We'll when I get to that point, then we'll tally the results. This handsome guy, such a beautiful background. I want one of these for my room. Get out of the way, Commander. Just like, do I know you? I want one of these for my room. This is the technology that I'm waiting for. Is like, I want to be on my bed questioning my life decisions like I do every night, but when I look up, I want to look up and I want to see that on the ceiling of my room. That would be very cool. I'm sure there's a way to do this. We have the technology, probably if you're rich enough, but so. Oh yeah, let's just do this. I keep walking past this for like a week now. All right, Lucy's math, dude. That's what I was. Hold up. Mailing squeaking again. This is actually one of the voiced ones, which is kind of cool. But this was the title I was going to use for my damage calculation video, my damage chart video that I'm working on. It was going to be Ernizzle's perfect math class. So she stole that from me. Okay, I stole that from somebody else first. Okay. Jang Yu needs help with math. Is that what's going on? Whoa, Ksenia, please don't say stuff like that on the Elmo. People are going to get the wrong idea. Yeah, Ksenia, I'm with Ksenia on this one. How do you not know how to do math? That's like, can you teach me how to breathe? It's true. This has been like an ongoing joke with her since the first game, is that she just doesn't it's not that she can't do math. I don't think it's that she doesn't understand the value of money. She just sees like pretty thing and she's like, ooh, diamond ring, I like it, I will buy. And I'm like, yo, you could, like, you know, feed a family of 4 for 2 months with that kind of money. What the fuck is this? Xiaolongbao? What is this? Can you, oh, look at Deagle's covering this up a little bit, but whatever. Jang, can you translate what you just said into English, please? Oh no. She done goofed. So even Deagle's having a hard time counting this one. Deagle can only count up to 7. So I think she's a little better than Lou, but not much. Everyone says uneducated. Yeah, dude, what kind of professional development classes do they have going on in the Elmo? Yeah, that's a good guess. A kilo is 2.2 freedom pounds for those of you who are having trouble with that conversion. You know, see, I can do math when I want to. Dude, she's an alien. Thank you, Jang. I understand your plea. I understand the problem now. Damn, even Mailing's ditching. It is true. These are like two polar opposite characters. Like, Lou doesn't understand how money works at all, and Ksenia, all she cares about is, you know, she's literally the poster girl for, you know, $20 is $20. I mean, look at the outfit she's wearing. I think that kind of explains. What is going on? Who does this? Oh, now she, I guess, like I said, she's gonna all of a sudden want to stay. Yep, see? So $20 is $20. Okay, we got this out of the way. Look at Nemesis. Why are you side-eyeing me, Nemesis? Hey, I'm just an observer here. I had nothing to do with that. I didn't program Lou to be bad at math. My spot open? Good. All right, we're gonna hang out up here for a minute. Oh, man. Can we get 1,000 people in here that vote for the default choice? There's a default choice. Did I mess this up? No, there's not a default choice, but it seems overwhelmingly in Gunsmoke. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes to simmer here, but it seems like you guys, I don't understand. I'm really confused, guys. Is Gunsmoke Frontline, is it actually the beloved game mode that they keep telling us about? I don't know. I give you guys other options and you say you want the Gunsmoke. I can do that. Oh, hi, Luke. Can I sit on this bench still, or is this one still? This is a paid-to-win bench. Okay, well, you know what? I can sit on this little box here. Sit on Suyumi's face. Well, that sounded wrong. Can you give the TLDR? Why Asteria is so strong? I will give you the TLDR, and that is because at high segments, she just does infinite damage. Not infinite. Okay, that's only 30 million damage. I'll be honest, Zero, I don't actually know the intricacies of her kit. Like, if you want, like, what the rotation is and stuff, I don't know that yet. I didn't bother researching. But the reason she's just ridiculous is because they just cranked her numbers up to 1 million. When you get her segment 6, the idea is she's supposed to bond with somebody. Like she's supposed to put like a team assist, kind of like how Robella picks a target and puts the what is it, the Oath of Light or whatever it is on them. Asteria does a similar thing where she picks another teammate and gives them a bunch of buffs. But long story short, if you don't pick a teammate, you keep the buff for yourself. And then they just cranked her numbers up to just ridiculous amounts. And she's doing just so much damage right now on the CN side that it's like one of those situations of this character just does so much damage, you just put her in every team. Like literally every team combo right now is like, it's getting kind of ridiculous in a way. It's OTS 14, because once again, it's hard to power creep that character. Then it's Asteria. And then usually if you don't have anybody for that element, it's segment 2 Lorelei, and then whoever else. It's just whatever you want the last two characters to be, just make believe it can be whoever you want. But if you're like picking an element like Hydro, for example, like let's say it was a Hydro team, I don't know, you'd do like Springfield, Lou, and I don't know, freaking Mitley, and then whatever, or I'm sorry, Colita. And then it'd be like, here you go. The last two slots are Asteria and OTS 14. So it's like literally Asteria and OTS 14 are the core of every team now. And then you just slap in three other like whatever units. It's just a big sad part about game balance, which we're about to get into here, because I guess this kind of segues good into what I want to talk about for Deagle. So let me pull up. I couldn't find any Deagle like good videos of gameplay, because like the only videos I could find was literally people trying to upskirt her in the dorm, because it's like, thanks Schooners, you're doing the world a favor. Not really. So I couldn't find any like actual gameplay footage where it showed someone playing her competently in like a not atrocious format. So we're just gonna have to double check a couple things on her sheet here, and I didn't even find the like translations for that, so we're using the good old community spreadsheet here. You know, it's better than nothing. Like, can I make this a little bigger so you guys can read it? Maybe 150. There we go. You don't need to know a lot of this stuff. What do you know? It's like, oh yeah, this we're gonna get to this. The skill rotation's kind of a disaster, but okay. The only thing I really want to talk about on here is this is the same stuff we talked about last week, how the skills work, but the only thing we didn't know last week was the segments, or the vertebrae, as people keep insisting they're called, even though they're not called that. Use the correct terms, otherwise people are going to get confused. But these are what I wanted to talk about. Sorry, I'm just taking a sip here. Delicious. Monster Energy drink is the thing that keeps me going in life. So the segments, this is, I'll give you the short answer. As usual, it's a segment 1, kind of segment 0, / segment 6 character. You either do, you know, oh my God, look at this. Look at this. Okay. Deep breaths, deep breaths. You can do this, Nizzle. You can do this. Okay. I'm going to summarize these. The only one that matters is segment 1. And the reason segment 1 matters is because it changes her rotation. You get an extra stack of evasive threat, which is, this is the thing she gets when she uses her, I think it's her alt, right? Whatever. It's one of the stacks for personal buff that you need to convert her alt into, or convert her basic attacks into alt. And you get more confectants. I'm just going to call them confectants. The point, it's kind of cool. The whole point of not using the confectants index on this character is because they decided to go with, can I highlight in this? No, I can't. But you have to look where the mouse is. They decided to go with 7, which is, it's a reference. It's a reference, guys. It's a reference. They wanted to go with 7, which is 1 more than 6, and we don't have the technology to have confectants go past 6. So they just like scrapped the whole confectants thing. They're just like, okay, here, you're doing these things called Feathers of War, and there's 7 of them. They don't interact with anything that uses confectants in the game, so good luck. This is the only segment that does anything, and it changes her rotation to be a little less cancerous. So I hate it when they do this, but like, this is just the world we live in. Yes, some characters will operate differently at segment 1 and 2 than they do at segment 0. I wish it wasn't like this, but sometimes it is, and this is one of those situations. So This is the only one you care about. These, let me guess. Let me just tell you: damage, 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 and more damage. And then this. Oh God, what is this? What is this? Mika, please. What is the point of doing this? Like, all right, I'm gonna rant. I'm ranting. Can't you just space all these words out? Like some of, look at this. Segment 5 you could have put half of these words in segment 5. You could have put half of these words up here in the kit. Although, Jesus Christ, this passive. Forgot how ridiculous this passive is. But like sometimes more words. Like this is just, to me, this just screams needlessly overcomplicated, right? Okay, you're going to give a random multiplier here. Here's another random multiplier. Oh, if it's a freeze type tile, here's take another random multiplier. Guess what? Here's a attack boost from Eagle Strike multiplier. Here's another multiplier. Here's a defense ignore multiplier. Like, Jesus Christ, guys. Just like either bundle this all up. Like, because what is this doing? At the end of the day, this is a very big and convoluted way to make big number go up. Like, you know what? Just put a big X over this, put a big scrap over this, and just say increases the damage of the alt from 120% to 1,120%, and get the same, you know, ballpark area. Just change that number around. Like sometimes making these like obnoxiously complicated abilities, like it seems like you're doing a lot, but you're not really. Like this doesn't. Okay. I'm being a little critical because the freeze type one is kind of cool. This one does work for allied units, but the majority of this other stuff is just a personal damage increase, and there's so many other ways to do that in a much more simple and easy to understand way. I can't even right now. I can't even with these people. I have mixed feelings on Deagle. I was really excited for her last week, and I am still really excited for her as a character. From a meta point of view, I'm not really sure what is going on. So she is in a weird spot. The play style seems really cool, but the rest of it seems very odd. And you know the reason how I know this, how I know that this character is not one of the blessed characters. Look at this. HP on the affinity key. In the garbage, dude. Throw it away. You know, she did not get blessed by the 3% attack, crit, and crit damage key. I'm sorry. That's just how you know. That's just the devs coming out and saying, yeah, we don't want this character to be that good. From what I've seen from her preliminary results for the first couple days here is that she is doing about as much damage as Sopmod, which normally you'd be really happy about that because you're like, oh wow, Sopmod, that's really good. You know, new age character, new age DPS. Except then characters like Asteria exist, and Kalita exist, and OTS 14 exists. And this is the problem with making characters that are so ridiculously over the top like this. It makes other characters just feel not good, right? Like seeing Deagle do 14 million damage seems really cool because, like I said, that's about how much damage Sopmod does. And you would think, oh wow, cool, you know, like here, another Sopmod on the freeze team. That's awesome. And now it's like, you know, but it's a different flavor, right? You get to do the same amount of damage, but you have a cool different play style with all the abilities, which we're gonna talk about very quickly. But instead, then on that same exact team, you see the very next line says Asteria 33 million damage, and you're like, oh wow, that doesn't feel good, right? We're playing the freeze team here. And Asteria's on the freeze team doing twice the damage that the freeze units are doing. And it feels gross, right? Like, all of a sudden you're like, I'm not so excited about Deagle anymore because it's like, oh, cool, well, she does not Asteria numbers. And it's like, you're going to have this problem forever and always now because guess what? I'm already thinking to myself, okay, well, whatever. Asteria was a mistake. Surely they won't do that again. But then I'm thinking, okay, well, we're not even at the CN side 3-year anniversary. What kind of unholy abomination of a character are they cooking up for that? Like, I'm guessing it's probably going to be Igla. Maybe Agent. Maybe Car 98K. Who knows? Doesn't matter. The point is, whatever character they cook up for the 3-year CN side anniversary is going to be fucking insane. insane. Like I think it's going to be double Asteria's damage if that's even possible. It it's a disaster. It's a fucking disaster, dude. The game balance it's a wild ride right now, and I don't even know how you fix it anymore. Because the short answer is Deagle seems really cool, but the numbers just aren't there. Okay, let me talk about this ridiculous thisness. Okay. Once again, this upsets me on multiple levels, but like, see this skill rotation at V0? This is just kind of a disaster because of like the way they made her. The skill at V1, this reminds me a lot of like Jang Yu's rotation at base versus Jang Yu's rotation at V2. The Jang Yu rotation at V2 is much more comfy. It's like punch, alt, then the next turn you do skill 3, then the next turn it's back to punch and alt, and you just keep doing that over and over. And that's kind of what this turns into. The kit kind of goes like this. Whoa. Let me see if I can do this correctly. So it's... I might have to zoom out so you can kind of see some of these skills. You do the swooping strike, which is the taunt slash dash. You do the dash into just dump all the... not confectants, but eagle feathers of war into your basic range attack until you run out of bullets. Then you switch over, which is, you'll see here is summarized by the... So you, number 3 is the dash ability. Then you shoot a bunch of bullets. Then you alt. Then the next turn you just shoot a bunch of bullets until you're out of bullets. And then you switch to melee mode. And then you claw stuff to death. And that's the cycle, right? Dash in, shoot a bunch of bullets, alt something, then you just keep shooting until you run out of bullets, and then you go to claw mode. In segment 0, this is just... I don't even know what the hell's... I do know what the hell's going on here. The problem is you just get weird turns of unevenness. The other thing this doesn't really take into consideration is the Feathers of War generated by multiple enemies attacking her, because in the V1... and in here somewhere, I'm not going to even try and find it. When she does her counterattack, I'm almost positive you get a feathers. Yeah, I think tradition, whatever. It's in here somewhere. I'm pretty sure when she triggers the counterattack, she gets a feathers of war. So if multiple enemies are attacking her, I think she gets multiple feathers of war back, which once again changes this rotation. But for all intents and purposes, I don't think it matters because, you know, in Gunsmoke, you're only going to have one boss attacking you. But yeah, the rotation's kind of a disaster at segment 0. V1, it cleans up pretty nicely. And it's kind of a cool playstyle too. It's like dash in, just hit them a bunch. And remember, if you're getting kills, you can chain abilities, or you can chain these attacks on other targets and stuff. Very, very cool. It's just, like I said, the problem is, like, no matter how cool of a playstyle you make a character, at the end of the day, people only care about the raw numbers. Some characters are very boring to play, and they're not, like, they don't feel very satisfying. To be honest, that's kind of how I feel about Voimastina. Like, she's kind of boring to play. Like, you run into the middle of them, you go into whatever target acquisition mode, and then you shoot a rocket at somebody, and then you ult, and you just do that over and over again. You shoot a rocket, then you ult. Shoot a rocket. You know, I'm sure it can be very satisfying to, you know, pile driver someone for 500,000 damage, but it's a kind of not that interesting of a playstyle. This seems way cooler. Like, it's very active. People who like don't like pressing a lot of buttons are gonna hate this, right? Like, for all the Chongju mains that just want to hit alt and then go to the next character, right? Like, this is kind of not the playstyle for you, but like, this seems really interesting to me, even if it's a lot of button pressing. So that I'm excited for. But at the end of the day, once again, people really only care about the bottom line, which is the big Unga Bunga damage numbers. And most of the Unga Bunga damage, once again, is tied into this ginormous passive at the bottom. This one increases the damage a little bit, but mostly it just makes her rotation not so sweaty. So I'm cautiously optimistic about her. I don't know if I'm still debating the segment 6, because somebody brought up a really interesting point. So in the CN side, with Deagle's release and Asteria existing, remember I was saying that the top teams, right? Like, I think the top team right now on the for Freeze, and I'm using, you can't see, but I'm doing finger quotes. The Freeze team right now is Alva, She's busted. Her key is just, once again, a balancing mistake. OTS 14, Asteria. And then, like I said, you could put Lorelei in there if you want to do Frostburn tiles, or you can just do the last two Frost units being, was it Robella and I'm forgetting one. Whatever. The point is, the last slot is either Satmod or Deagle. They do almost about the exact same amount of damage. You just flip-flop the two. Deagle right now is just a teeny tiny bit ahead of Satmod, but I don't know if it's worth getting a whole new character for, to be honest. And long story short, someone pointed out that it's like, we don't even have Satmod on our side server yet, and she's already been power creeped in the team. I'm like, that is literally where we're at with this game, is that we don't even have a character released, and she's already got a replacement on CN side. It's like, oh man, what are we doing? Sorry, let me catch up with chat real quick. That was my rant. I do these things where I just kind of get up, you know, I get worked up. Okay, I just get worked up and I start. Does Alva work with her? If you're assuming with Deagle Pega, then yes, Alva works. I would even say that they're like tied to the hip, because once again, Alva's shields increase frost damage by a ton. More like every gotcha game after 2 years thing to do, not really a Mika thing. You're talking about, he's talking about the skill length being a page long. I don't know. That's not true. I hard disagree with that. Even GFL1 has some pretty, like at the very end of the game's like release life cycle, there were some characters with some very like standard kits. People call them boring. Whatever. HSR, like I said, this is another big like mainstream gacha game that I know about and play. There's some characters that have come out that are just very straightforward, like here's just a bunch of damage. Not everything needs to be a 10-page paragraph. Yeah, so Pega's quoting what I was saying about like I'm already worried about the next 3-year anniversary characters. Like Klukai was a mistake, they won't do that again. Voimastina was a mistake, they won't do that again. OTS 14 was a huge mistake, they won't do that again. It's like, yeah, we keep saying it, but it keeps happening. Run says you pretty much don't need teams anymore, you need just damage. That's kind of what it's turned into, right? Like the Omni striking dummy on CN side is just literally the same like 10 teams over and over. Like the same 3 characters rotated in the same like 6 to 10 teams. Honestly, Deagle being more balanced is a good thing. Yeah, Paul, once again, I would agree with you, except that ship has sailed. That's the problem. You can't release a balanced character after you release someone like Asteria. Like, this is the problem. Like, even a character like Colita, I will argue, was a mistake, because the amount of damage that she puts out compared to the other similar units in her role was just huge. Like, she's putting out like 20 million damage in a Hydro team, and I think the next best person, I think, is like Mitley. I'm sorry, I should clarify, these are all segment 6 characters I'm talking about. Versus Mitley, I think is like 15 million, and General Lu is also like 15, maybe 18 million in like a good test scenario. But you know, so Colita once again is doing more damage than the other Hydro characters, and it starts to feel bad. Like, this is what happened to Keta, right? Niketa just got booted out of the Hydro team, not because her, like, she fell off like gameplay wise, it's just her damage numbers just, you know, everyone's literally doing the same damage as her but bigger, like twice as much or more. So yeah, anyway, that's the problem. Releasing balanced characters followed by unbalanced characters just means that no one's going to get the balanced characters. It's just not a good look. And then yeah, then John points out that there's other exceptions. Klukai is still on top after all these years. Well, to be honest, this is how fast everything's been moving. It's only been a year, John. It's only been a year since Klukai. A year and 4 months or 3 months. Can't remember if it was May or April of last year she came out. But so Klukai has only been around for a year and she's still on top. which, you know, technically she gets dethroned when OTS 14 comes out. But I know what you're saying. She's still, for the Corrosion team, she's still like holding that team together in one of its core lineups. But yeah, that's the weird thing, right? Certain characters just get blessed. Like Springfield's another one. Springfield came out on the CN side 1 year anniversary, and now almost 2 years later, she's just still meta in like every single Hydro team and even some weird hybrid shoot-offs because of her crazy damage that she puts out for a support, in addition to just making the team near unkillable with like double the HP. We're at 3 years on the CN side, Pega. Well, this upcoming November will be, I think, 3 years for them. Is it November or October? I can't remember when it came out on CN. I want to say it was either late fall or November. I can't remember. Imagine if they release a second mod key referring to Klukai. Yeah, let's hope they don't. Shada asks, "Hey Ernie, whose spreadsheet is this?" This is the as you can see, the official release info. It's not official, it's unofficial. This is the sheet that they have in the official Discord. I had to think about that for a moment. It's in the like the main official Discord. If you just go to like any of the channels, the Ask Bots channel or something, this is a spreadsheet that's maintained by some of the guys over there. They do a pretty good job with keeping up with the translations and stuff. This sheet used to, way back in the day, kind of serve as like my job. It was like guide maker stuff, right? Like people were like putting in summaries and stuff, but now they've gotten away from that, especially with how crazy things are getting. Like, do they even have anything for Asteria? Yeah, they don't even explain anything. They're just like, bro, if you know, you know. But yeah, this is a good sheet for looking up these things in a nice all-in-one package. I'll try and link it in YouTube chat. I don't know if YouTube's gonna like this. Oh, it let me do it. Okay, cool. So I link this in YouTube chat. You can check it out. They keep it up to date pretty good. Also says you need more than one team, and there is content with no borrows coming up. So if you have super few carriers, doesn't really matter that much if you need to spread them out. Yeah, Paul, but only for that one game mode, right? Like that's the thing. It's like for people who don't, you're right to a certain extent, Paul. Like they could artificially fix this problem by forcing you to bring multiple teams that can't share units and you can't borrow, right? But that requires buy-in from the player base, because because essentially you could say that's true for some game modes that we currently already have, like that oh god, Ashen Tales, is that what it's called? The wannabe roguelite mode. You can't borrow other people's characters for that, and you kind of get randomly assigned characters. So but like nobody cares about that game mode, right? Like nobody does those game modes. Even some of the other stuff like Star Wish mode and stuff, you can't do borrows for Star Wish, but the only people that really take that seriously are the people who are trying to make top 100 for whoever they're voting for. The vast majority of the people who are playing this game have no interest in that, and that is kind of one of the big issues. Is like, I hate to say it, but the casual audience is getting ignored. I think we've hammered on this topic long enough, though. I don't know, Paul. We're gonna have to see. I don't like the trend. It's making me very upset and very nervous. Do we have? Oh, that's right. We got the outfit. There's nothing to gamble on here. How we doing on 23? We got 23 saved up for whatever's after this nonsense. Oh yeah, it's Colita's next. Way cooler. Okay, I think we're good. I think the poll is gonna... We're ending the poll, and it was a very solid winner. Guys, the people, they yearn for the Gunsmoke. Some people wanted to see Expansion Drill. Let me just double check if that wasn't just a joke. Did I just make that up? We do have a new Expansion Drill, right? Okay. Maybe we'll do that. Is this 11 days? Well, maybe we'll do this either next. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to stream next week. Can't even see. Well, whatever. The people voted for Gunsmoke, so that's what we're doing. Casual audience just buys skins and autos anyway. You're right, Paul, but the reason they do that is because the game devs are not, Mika team is not doing a good job of getting them to participate and buy in. Like, to be honest, if you don't care about Gunsmoke, what other content in this game is there for you? Right? Like, if you're the kind of person who's motivated by rewards, right? This is something I've talked about with my other boys. He's not in here today, or if he is, he's lurking. But we've talked about this at length. Is like, you kind of need to incentivize players to do stuff. You can't just always assume that they're going to just out of the goodness of their heart decide to do super hard, like 40-40 modes on everything. Or like, climb to floor 100 on tower mode. Like, the second the rewards stop, that's usually where most people stop. And to be honest, I'm one of those people. I do Gunsmoke because it's kind of fun, and I like, doing stuff with the platoon. But for example, if there was no platoon system, if it was Gunsmoke was just rank where you rank, and then, you just get your percentage, believe me, I would do whatever the bare minimum is to get my percentage cut off and stop. Oh, there. This is the team we're going to use. I use Electric. This is the setup I'm using. The only thing fancy in here is Lena. She is the segment 2 because we got the double. Remember? I don't know who was there. Who was there and remembers the time that he got the double on Lena. This is what she's using. I have them all using pretty good keys. Yeah, this is a horrible format. Can I see it better this way? Here we go. We got this key, this key. This is literally just for the stats and I guess the 7%, and this key for her. Jing Yu's kind of the same thing. Crappy key. I mean, they're not crappy. They're just, kind of not great. And then Sextans has the best keys. 10%, 10%, and 10%. They all have remolding patterns except Andrus because someone thought it'd be a great idea to give Andrus a bunch of stupid stuff. Like, none of these affect other characters at all. So it's like, I mean, sure, if I get really desperate one day and I need, like, whatever, 100 extra attack power on Andrus, maybe I'll level it up, but another design mistake. I really like it. There's so many characters I like. Anyway, this is what we're doing. Signature weapons on these two. Segment 2 on Lena, which normally I would say doesn't matter, but in this run, you're going to see, I think it does matter. It gets ridiculously tight. We're going to borrow a leva, obviously. This is the leva. It's pretty maxed. We got 3 keys here that are pretty maxed too. So some people might even say we're leva maxing. That's what we're going to borrow. This is the team we're going to use. And then the other team I usually run is Corrosion because that just overkills it without any help at all. So that'll be the other team, which I'll do probably on my own time. The buff. So some people would look at this buff and say, that's the buff I use for Gunsmoke, right? And I will say you're wrong. This is actually the buff you use in this team specifically. I tested this the other day between these two, and Disarray and Reinforcement came out on top by about 2%, 3% overall on the boss's HP. And it's really easy to tell when you're cutting it as close as I do because you do a run and the boss is at 3% life, and then you switch the buffs. You go to this one over here, then you do it, and the boss dies. You're like, oh, well, that's easy to figure out which one was stronger. The reason this is stronger, and this is going to lead into the video, which, yeah, surely he's not going to just keep saying that he's going to make it. He's actually going to make it. But I am working on a video for the damage formula and how all the numbers affect things. And the reason I haven't gotten the video done yet is because the scope of the video keeps expanding, and this is the reason. Things like this get really complicated, and they make it harder to understand. And so I'm trying to present the video in an easy to understand manner. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The important thing is that this is a 2-for-1. This is critical damage and defense ignore. So this will be 15% critical damage and 25% defense ignore, as opposed to just 25 critical damage. The downside to this, though, is that it only is active on 2 people, Leva and Jangyu, because they're the only 2 that do support attacks. That doesn't really matter because Andrus does negligible damage. And, you know, Lena, she's trying her best, but she can't quite break 1 million. You know, Asteria's over there doing 33 million damage, and Lena, she's trying so hard, and she can't quite break 1 million, even at segment 2. So it doesn't really matter on her. The problem is it does kind of matter on Sextans, because Sextans in this team does about 3 million damage. With like this buff, for example, she'll do around 3.1, 3.3 million damage. But with this buff, she's going to get a little less. So this is the only downside. The problem, or not the problem, but the reason this one always comes out on top is because Leva is by and far the main damage dealer on this team, and this turbo juices her. So you kind of give up the damage contribution from Sextans, and you get more than that on Leva. Now, see, now I've started a civil war. Everyone's arguing about making stuff easy or not easy. I should have never said anything. Okay, we're going to put Leva here. She just needs to be in range for support attacks on the first turn. I think even over here. I think even this might be in range, but I always put her here just for funsies. And the 2 can swap, and those 2 can swap because, yep. Here we go. I'll talk through my min-maxes as I do them. Maybe you guys can squeak out an extra 100 points by following these 28 easy steps. They need to bring back night battle mode like in GFL1. My initial knee-jerk reaction, John, is PTSD and don't ever do that. No, stop. But, you know, if they did it right, it could be fun. I just hated having to do separate equipment. Very standard Lena opener. Usually we have Sextans go, so when Sextans goes, the important thing is that when she ults, she is going to put, there it is, in here somewhere, Amaranth brand. She gives all the teammates Amaranth brand. This is important because it increases stability. Obviously, it's important for Leva because that's how she does her damage, but it's also important on turn 1 and other turns, so that you can actually break the boss in time. So we're just going to alt. So you can see Amaranth brand going on everybody. You know, just do that. Mostly that buff is now up so that when Jangyu goes, she gets the little extra value out of it. Punch, punch, punch. Run over here. I don't know if you need to stand like this. I'll be honest. So this boss, the reason I'm standing like this is because when I run up here with Andrus and I drop these 2 turrets, I don't want the turrets getting cleaved by the boss's ice attacks, because if they're getting hit the entire time, eventually they will get dead and you'll have to waste a turn resummoning them. At least I did. So I don't like to have the team all stacked up here on top of it, because there's kind of no point to it. But anyway, if you saw right there, that attack that the turret did was just enough to break the boss before all these Leva attacks go off, right? We check the previous action. The boss had 18 stability left, but when the turret shot and Jangyu did her support attack, it lost all the stability required before Leva went to get the maximum value. Have I read the story yet for Sextans? No, I'm a dirty casual, and I did not. But it will be here. I'll be ready next week. I promise. Maybe not. This is where it gets a little weird. That's what I always say on the first date. Normally, once again, you would just keep the same order of you know, Sextan second, but I'm actually gonna swap it. I guess actually for this turn it doesn't matter, but next turn you'll see that it matters. We're gonna have Sextans go after Tengu. I just like to do this to heal everyone. Not so important on this day, but on days when you're running the what buff is it? Sanguine Shower, where everyone needs to be topped off. That's the day that's important to hit it, both people with the heals. Filthy GFL tourist. I'm not no tourist, dude. I've been here. I am one of the ancient wise ones. You've seen my GFL1 account. I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago for Arctic Warfare. Okay, this is where it changes a little bit. Still have Lena go first. There might be some min-maxes to do by having Lena not go first. I just don't know what world you wouldn't want stability loss 2 up on the target right away. Because in the team currently, as you're about to see, we'll still break him before anybody important goes. So I don't think you need to have Sextans go first to get Amaranth Brand up, because right now everyone doesn't have Amaranth Brand on them anymore. At least I don't think they do. It should have fallen off. I should probably double check that before I just say that, though. Yeah, so they don't have Amaranth Brand anymore, but I don't think it's going to matter. In fact, I know it doesn't matter, because after these 2 attacks, the boss is ready to be broken. And the reason we have those 2 attacks go first is because this one it won't matter for, because the boss is still covered by stability. But for this attack, it's going to break the boss, so this attack will do full damage because it's going to be a stability collapse. And this is how you squeak out that little tiny extra bit of damage. Because Sextans is actually doing damage on the team as opposed to Jango. You'll see this at the end of the combat when I show the damage chart. Since Sextans is actually contributing meaningful damage, it's better that she gets the stability break and the extra damage versus if we flip-flop the order and if you know, Jang Yu was the one breaking the boss right now. The micro min maxes, the mini maxes. John says I should make a video about reverse collapse or maybe a reverse collapse stream. You know, John, that's actually a pretty good idea. I bought reverse collapse at the last Steam sale, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. It's another one of those, yeah, I'll do it later type things. And I know a little bit about the story, but I would like to do it. And then you guys could make fun of me because I'm pretty sure that game's a lot harder than like this game, for example. So I'd probably get stomped and you guys could laugh as I die. The ancient wise man who still advises you to drop everything into OTS 14, by the way. Yes, dude. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Once again, this turn doesn't really matter, but we're gonna have Jang Yu go first just to get the last stack of positive charge up on everybody, and I don't know, can just do the dance here. Oh my god, can't click. Sextans comes to here. This unfortunately says it's gonna heal the turrets, but it doesn't. For reasons I can't explain, the turrets never get healed. Even with this, I think they should be healing from this. I could have swore they used to heal from this at one point in time, but maybe I just, I hallucinated that too. But for reasons I can't explain, these turrets never heal. Because they, like I said, they should be healing from these attacks. But they're not. They're not healing. They're doing electric damage. I mean, they're doing negative charge. I don't know. They don't have positive charge, right? They don't have positive charge. Maybe that's the problem? Yeah, because this doesn't apply to allied units. It applies to allied dolls. So this doesn't go on the turrets. Although I thought this one did. Nope, this is allied dolls too. I don't know. I forgot. These are supposed to get positive charge somehow, I thought. I don't remember. Whatever. The turrets don't heal. That was the important takeaway. All right, we are on track for a cure. We are under, I think you need to be about 47% right now if you're like really cutting it close, but we're kind of doing a little extra damage. I don't know. I guess we're critting extra hard right now, even though everyone's crit capped. I don't know why. I feel like we're ahead. I'm normally not at 44% going into this turn, but I will take it. We're back to, he has stability. So once again, if I did it this way, if I was to have Sextans go right now, she wouldn't get the extra damage from, you know, I can prove it to you. Watch. Sometimes it's easier just to show things than explain things. So if we have Sextans goes, and then we have Jangyu go. At the end of the first 3 units going, 83-47. That is the score we're at. 83-47. If we reverse the order and we have her go first. Watch, the game's gonna make a fool out of me. 8359. That is a 12 points increase. You read them and weep, boys. Count them up. He knows how to math. The teeniest and tiniest of min-maxes. But like I said, as you'll see when we get towards the end of this fight, you do need to actually do that kind of stuff with an all low segment team like this. This is a pretty free-to-play friendly team, right? Like if you're literally just getting base segments, and I guess you had to get Lena's segment 1 because that changes her alt rotation. But other than that, it's a pretty free-to-play team to get a kill on this boss with. Boss needs to be under 30% here, which he kind of is. It's like 30-ish. This is close enough. For the electric team, this is like sometimes he's not under 30% because they have to waste their time breaking his stability on that turn. So, you know, it's a little bit of a damage loss. Oh yeah, for sure. Paul says this is the cheapest team by far on this boss for the season, and you are absolutely correct. I've tried a couple other teams, and this team kind of shocked me how much. I get it, shocked me. It's electric. What a shocker. Yeah, this team, like how much Sextans brought this team up from the grave. No more puns. Stop it, Nizzle. No more puns. Pretty impressive. Too bad the sad part though is like now this team is very competitive again, just in time for it to not get a unit for 8 months or 6 months or however long it is till we catch up in CN side. That is the sad part. Okay, this is once again we need to be like under 17% here, and I think we're gonna be past that. Would be like 15, 14. Yeah, 15%. These will bring it to 14 maybe. It's hard to tell with all these words in my face. Yeah, 14. Gotta break that stability again. We'll have Jangyu go to refresh positive charge on everybody. Here's a question I don't know. We're gonna test this out on stream right now. My understanding for voltage tiles is when you put two voltage tiles on top of each other, whatever, they detonate, which is why you've been seeing during this fight, like the tiles underneath him disappear and then get put back down. The question I have is that, do all 9 tiles give you more damage? Let's find this out right now, guys. Because I think this detonates it with this attack. So this will only be 3 tiles detonating. And it's really hard to tell, especially when I have it on fast forward here. It was like 116,000, 9844. And you'll see, like I said, these 3 tiles here on the left of him detonated. Or is it the right of him detonated? I don't know. Whatever. Some of the tiles didn't detonate, you can tell. Wait, what was the score? 9844. Meanwhile, if we do it and cover all 9 tiles, is this going to give us more than that? Nope, it didn't. I made that whole thing up. Cool, we learned something together today. But this attack will break him, which causes a stability collapse for that extra sweet damage. This is the sad part. Before Lena goes, the boss is at 10%. Like, she is just, you know, she's carrying so much of the team's weight on her shoulders. Like, one character doing so much damage. All right, but you can see, like, we're cutting it pretty damn close here. Like, game doesn't even think it's gonna die, but it doesn't account for the fixed damage. Or the crit. But yeah, that was literally the last attack. We had 2 more two more Jingyu interception attacks at the very, very end if things got truly desperate. But like, man, you can't really cut it much closer than that. So this is the damage chart. As I said, with the electric debuff for the team, Sextans does more around 3 million, so a little bit more than this. The problem is the numbers got so big. Like, this is another reason you could tell the devs didn't really think things through. Like, even this damage chart can't account for numbers this big, because this chart, when the game started, was showing you accurate results, right? Like, to the last spot. Then, as the inflation started, then they had to abbreviate it. They're like, okay, we'll just put a K here to let you know that it's thousands. And now we're just at the point where it's just like, you just round up or down to the closest million. I guess this is rounding down to the closest million, but this could be 11.1 million, or it could be 11.9 million, right? Like, I think it just rounds down no matter what. So, you know, a 0.8 million damage difference, so that's 800,000 damage, is more than obviously Sextans would contribute. You can see these guys not getting the buff, Lena and Andrus, means like next to nothing. And Jingyu getting the buff also means like next to nothing. She's doing half the damage Sextans is. So normally in a normal run, she does, I got my numbers here, I can just look. Normally she does 1.65, 1.7. A little lower than this. So mostly it's the fact that the buff just turbocharges lava even harder. Okay, we did it. I will spare you the second Gunsmoke run, because guess what? It's this. Wow, look, so creative. Just ignore everything. Just ignore all these words up here and just run this team, and you'll kill the boss either at the end of turn 6 or right away in turn 7. Like, the damage difference between these two teams is just staggering. And I think if you have the fire team with like most fire units, high segment, you can do it too, but I don't have a what's the cow? What's her name? Kyohan. I don't have a Kyohan to borrow, a segment 6 Kyohan. So we have a Lewis, which is pretty good, but I think you need Lewis and Kyohan if you want to brute force with the burn team. But it can be done pretty easily too if you have both those characters. But a poor man's burn team like mine is can't quite brute force it. So we just use the corrosion team, which is just segment 6 Lind and segment 6 Klukai, and the rest is just do whatever you want. I mean, there's a segment 1 Feitusa in here, not that it matters. And then you don't even need these buffs. Like, who cares? These are for buffs are for nerds. But I'm not gonna make you guys watch that because it's just Klukai driving around on a motorcycle. We're at an hour. I said I wasn't gonna go super late tonight. Maybe we just kind of wrap it up there. Did we have anything else we needed to talk about or cover? We got anything cool going on with events, simulation exercises, and kind of, no, nothing to do. I wish these were the other ones. I actually wouldn't mind doing a puzzle one for you guys, and you guys could laugh at me. They've been getting really hard. Those inverse cipher ones. The last cycle of them, I was, I'll be honest, dude. I think I was just in a bad mood because I just looked up the answers. I'm like, I ain't fucking doing this today. But there were some tricky ones in that. Some tricky ones. Yeah, and there's no other events to do. I already know. I already know what's gonna happen here. If I hit this, it's just gonna zoom in on her feet, isn't it? It's gonna be like another Gooner intro. There's no way. There's no way they would just let us test Sextans without trying to sell you on the costume and you know. Yeah, maybe my game died. Oh, no, there it is. Oh, see? Just when he talks shit. See? Alright, we're doing some Batman stuff here. Yeah, dude, what? You want me to turn up the difficulty? What? I would never say this, okay? This is not in character. I do not condone turning up the difficulty. Everybody knows that I'm a coward and I want to play on easy mode. Damn, see? You know, this is what the game tricks me sometimes. I think they're gonna goon it up and they don't, and now I feel stupid. Come on, auto battle. I do wish they would stop giving you high segment characters for this, or at least like kind of make it obvious when they do. I'm pretty sure this is a segment. Let's just find out. Is it segment 6? Oh, never mind. It's over too quick. I think this is like a segment 6 or like segment 3 Sextans, because that little lightning strike ability, I'm pretty sure is not. Oh no, that might just be from. I lied. Never mind. That's just from blade units. All right. Well, that shut me up. Oh, Pega's got some ideas. What are the bets on the next electric unit, guys? What are the bets? My bet is Igla, because this thematically that makes sense. You know, another third gen reject unit that gets taken over, and she uses a sword, and they obviously are going to want her and Sextans to be on the same team because of the swords, but I mean, I guess they could make her any element, right? Because the only thing that really needs, I don't know, it's just gotta be one of the next couple characters, because Electric has been ignored for so long. They kind of need another character, and yeah, I don't know. My vote's Sigla. Okay, thank you. Matchstick 800 pointed out my mistake when we were testing the tiles. I should really read chat as I'm doing things, but it's so hard to multitask. But he says all tiles detonated on the first use of the alt, the one where I clipped only 3 tiles, but only the 3 in that line got reapplied, which makes sense because the 6 on the right side were still vacant. So it detonates all the tiles and then only reapplies the ones that she went over. Which I get, he says, which maybe not the most useful info, but regardless, interesting regardless. And yes, I think it only matters if you have Leva go right after her, because Leva does tile detonations as well. And I guess it'll matter more in the future with tile reactions, although Electric has some kind of weird ones. John says Beluga would be funny as Electro, just like Snow Wolf Kalita Hydra unit. Abomination, whoever thought Hydra was the best for an AK based weapon. Dude, they just do darts to the dartboard. Deagle, once again, Deagle, the desert eagle desert gun being a freeze unit, that's a decision. Pegasus, make a guide on how to get auto Fetusa to work. I will once I make a guide on how to get the auto Alva to work, because my Alva on my other account, she's segment 6, right, on the alt account. Where is it? Where do I even look this up? Friends list? Do I have friends? I'm surely my own friend in here, right? Oh god, where am I? Oh, I'm outing everyone. So my alt account, which we pulled for this on stream, and I think I actually have enough tickets to try and pull for another segment 6 on this account. This Alva is segment 6, and the game just doesn't know how to use Frosted Echo into the alt. And when I auto battle with this Alva, on the turns when she's supposed to drop the liquid nitrogen fang, she literally runs to cover and ends her turn. She doesn't even attack. The game just like spazzes out. They're like, oh, you get battle prep and like, I don't know. And it just ends her turn. I get so tilted. It's like, bro, you're telling me like, I would be upset if this wasn't a free to play account, right? Like if this account that it was on wasn't an alt account. Like if I had shelled out hundreds of dollars for Alva, and then they can't even make the auto battle, like figure out how to use their abilities correctly. Like that's not something that has anything to do with positioning. Like that's literally just on turn 4, make it use these abilities. I don't know how they messed that up. So once I figure out how to fix that, then I'll figure out how to fix the Fetusa auto. But yeah, Fetusa auto is also incredibly bad. Yeah, Pegasus, do it like the Cheyenne trial where they where Voimastina just nukes everything before you can even test Cheyenne. Yeah, it's true. That was another decision. Oh, Pega coming in with the hot vote of Kuro or MDR being for electric. I don't know if I see thematically when I think MDR / Kuro, I think toxic gamer, so I think corrosion. But we kind of already have that covered by Harpsy. You know, we already have the toxic gamer. And the other character you would in theory pair MDR with would be her idol Nanika, but that's a PNC character and they forgot that they did a collab with PNC. So we're never getting any of the other. Dude, how long ago was it Lewis released? How long on CN side? Almost a year. I think it was like what, last November or last January? No, that was when we got it. Dude, it's been forever since the PNC collab and they just refused to do anything with it, right? Like they introduced Lewis, they introduced the whole story of them getting more PNC characters into the game, and they're just like, and we're busy, bye. I should stop complaining about things, it just makes me upset. Krolik for the 5-star dual element, please. I could get behind that. They really should buff. With how rampant the power creep is and how ridiculous the game has gotten, you could reinvent this whole system by power creeping everyone into oblivion and updating old characters. Like we have Nemesis Gnosis coming soon, but I actually wouldn't even mind it at this point if we just did like a hard reset on the game and they're just like, okay, level cap is now 80 or 100 or whatever they need to do to make the numbers kind of even out. Level cap is now 100. The damage scaling is getting changed. Whatever, maybe even redo the damage formula or something and just even everybody out. And then you could bring the top characters down a little bit and the bottom characters up a little bit. And you know what? At the same time, just focus on releasing neural upgrades, either how Nemesis got her Gnosis upgrade or just alternate versions of characters. I don't really like the way they did the alternate version of Grozo / OTS 14, how they're like 2 separate characters. I kind of like the way they did Gnosis better, like it's the same character and you just flop between the two. But you could do that for all these characters, right? New character upgrade, 5-star upgrade, 5-star upgrade. I mean, technically a 5-star, but like just a neural upgrade, 5-star upgrade, 5-star upgrade. You just do that to all of them, right? And then you could like redo their kits, make them interesting, do whatever you got to do. That'd be a lot of fun, actually. That's why Crash says Deagle should have been fire or physical. I don't understand what they were thinking. I don't think anybody understands what they were thinking. Hell, I don't even know if they understood what they were thinking. I think they're planning one as far as, okay, what element needs help right now? Okay, electric, let's not do that one. Let's Let's do a different one. Oh, God. Pega says my V6 Fate 2 on auto just runs to cover, does skill 4, which is her revision, and then does skill 2 and just ends her turn. That's incredibly bad, Pega. The answer to that is I think the devs just kind of said, fuck it. You do it. You fix it yourself, because they expect everyone to come in. Oh, God, where do you even do that at anymore? Fire control preset. They expect you to just fix their mistakes, and they're like, you know what? If the players care, they'll just go through this tediously. Geez, what even is this? Phase element? What? What am I even looking at here, guys? Like, they think you're gonna go in here and do this for them. This is the dev's job to program this in, and they think the players are just gonna do their job for them. This is dual wing descent, but what does this mean, type? Type default. Can I get some chat GPT translations in the chat? Because this is... What does this mean? Type. Status? Units with... friendly units? Enemy units? Like, this is how you know this was so half-assed, because they didn't even finish translating it. What does this mean? So you're going to use dual wind descent on weakness. Okay, well, this actually kind of makes sense, right? Like, this only use once. You have an option to do it. No, use this 100 times if you can. Turn order to this. I mean, is this turn order or is this the order of the skills? Because, like, for example, units like Fetusa could technically and this is, oh my God, this is a disaster. Because technically it's supposed to be overwrite trap first. And this, but this only works if you have 6 confectants, which means somebody else in the team had to get her to do her support attacks before this happens. And then I don't know, man, like what position nearest and furthest? Okay, that actually makes sense too. This doesn't make sense at all. This makes sense for buffs, not for attacks, right? Like, why is physical element not capitalized randomly? Like I said, this just reeks of we threw this into an auto translator and then put it in the game. We didn't even check it. We didn't even have the interns look over. Anyway, whatever. This is what they expect you to do. No, I don't want to save this plan. Ew, gross. Let me make sure that didn't save. Good. Whew. Ugh, could you imagine? But yeah, they just expect you to do that. Ain't no way Harpsy is a toxic gamer, dude. Yeah, she's a mega toxic gamer. She's a rage shatter for sure. Look at this, watch. When she's not vibing, she's manipulating, I guess. Look at this rage. Fucking, I fucked your mom, mate. Enter. That's what she just chatted. Look at the anger, the pent up frustration. I relate to this on an emotional level. Okay, we're done here. I think we're done for the stream. I've wasted time. We had fun tonight. Short stream. I don't want to go and just yap like this for... I could do this for hours, guys. We could all just hang out here. But I don't even have a cool little camera in the corner of my beautiful face, so you guys can't even tell all the funny expressions I'm making. So we're going to end it here tonight. Join me next time. I think it's going to be another week or two. I don't think we're going to do one next week. I think I'm going to take a week off so I can get the story done and then maybe force myself to work on the damage formula video. I'm going to try and cover all the important information for that. That's, like I said, that's turned into a daunting task. But I'm going to do my best. Ernizel's Perfect Math Class. You guys look out for that title. And then after Sextans, I expect them to say the next one's a major, right? It should be the OTS 14 major, which I've already forgot the name of the event. So I think we'll see you back for that. I don't think I'm going to be gambling too much on OTS 14. I might just grab the base form of her, if maybe not even that. But we'll see. We'll have to wait to see what the devs preview. I also will be interested to know if they're going to cram another unit in that major to speed us up. So we'll just have to wait and see. I guess it's going to be a surprise for all of us. So when I post a stream next in like 2 weeks from now, we'll all just be surprised together. Thank you, Ron. Sure, chiral redundancy. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Chiral redundancy. And John pointed it out too. Thank you guys for helping me out here. But I will catch you guys in the future. You guys have a great one. Good luck on your Gunsmoke runs, and good luck on your polls if you didn't get segment 6 sextans yet. Surely you're gonna get that, right? Bye-bye. See you later.